Last weekend I was down in Ohio for the International Firewood Expo, and it was a great time. While it's always nice to take a little break and get away and do some things outside of the Woodyard, the problem is when you get back, there's a long list of things waiting to get done, and then the other things that you wanted to do, and the list just keeps piling up. So today I want to try to knock out a couple little small things. One of the things is I want to move the Kinlet, and then check this out. I got in my other set of the wiggle wire and the tracks, so I want to put that on the top. I got one piece I want to put over the top of each end of the greenhouse. I also got in a big box of the barrow bags that I want to use to pick up the rest of this birch that I moved. Everything was spread out here, and so I just kind of pushed it over because I want to put the Kinlet up here. And the reason why I want to have, the reason I'm going to put the Kinlet on this end is because it is PTO driven. And so I think, I want to get it up there and I want to see where I can position it so that I can back my tractor up right here and then still run the Kinlet, which actually would make sense and would actually work out great, because then I could workflow everything from left to right, and coming out the end of the Kinlet, right where that birch is where the finished splits would end up. So that's the plan. Move the Kinlet and hopefully lock down the greenhouse with the wiggle wire track. And I gotta say, when I left last week, I left these ends open. I actually kind of forgot to close them off. That was actually rolled up more. I just took it down to get a measurement up on that end. But I had this open, and it actually is working out. It's very warm in here still with both ends open, and it gets the breeze blowing through. So I think for the most part, I'm gonna try to, this summer now, just leave these ends open, let the air flow through and the sun warm it up. It's been working out great. But like I said, first on the agenda is we are going to move the Kinlet, and I'm hoping that by taking off that outfeed chute, I'm hoping that this will fit right in there. So before I forget, I need some feedback from you. I've had a few requests from a few people, Old Guy Firewood, about the Friday Night live streams potentially always starting at 8 p.m. Eastern instead of 8 p.m. Central. Therefore, everybody on the East Coast, instead of staying up late to catch the end of the live stream, it would start at 8 Eastern and go till 9:30 Eastern. For those of you that are used to the Central Time, if you're in the Central Time Zone, it would start at 7 Central. So just leave me a comment down below if you would prefer to start at 8 Eastern instead of 8 Central. And I think for tomorrow night, we will do that. So a little programming note here. Tomorrow night, the live stream will start at 8 Eastern, 7 Central. And then I'll get more feedback from those that are on the live stream tomorrow night. But if you could, just leave me your thoughts down below. Do you prefer an earlier start if you're on the East Coast? So starting at 8 p.m. your time, 7 Central. Just let me know, because I think maybe for the summer, we could switch that up and start a little earlier for everyone. I think a majority of the Woodhounds and possibly a majority of those who tune in to the live stream tune in from the Eastern Time Zone. At least that's what old guy Firewood told me. And he was saying, you know, I should probably change it because most of the people tuning in won't have to stay up so late. So let me know. So I got the Kinlet moved. I got the greenhouse all tidied up. Let me show you. The Kinlet was a little bit of a challenge getting in there. I kind of had to finagle it around and finesse it back and forth with the forks and with a little muscle. But there it is in its new home. And I do have enough hydraulic hose to reach the tractor. I could shovel this dirt down a little bit and make it so I could even back in a little bit closer if I needed to. But this will allow me to put a tote right here on the end of this shelter, and then I can just take from the tote and feed right into the infeed, and then the outfeed will come out and drop pretty much right down there. And that's kind of the spot where I like to let the wood kind of sit for a day or two, get some air, get some sun. I will have to clean up some of this mess on the end here, but that should work out very nice. So the new mini Firewood production center is now right there. Should give me plenty of room. And like I said, it'll be nice to be able to drive the tote or put the tote or whatever I'm feeding the chunks or rounds from right on the end there. Where before in this shelter over here, I always kind of had it at the front and I had to kind of walk them back. So speaking of the shelter over here, that's right, there is I put one track on the top. There is a little bit of a gap between the side track and the top track. I was able to actually bend those and form them to kind of the shape of the greenhouse. Now I'm not saying that the average person out there watching will be able to do it, but I was able to take that track and just use a little muscle again, just like moving the Kinlet. Put a little muscle, a little elbow grease into it, and I was able to bend it and kind of shape it to, like I said, the shape of the frame of the greenhouse. And then when I got up there, the other thing I did is I also pre-drilled a center hole and then 2 holes on the end of the track. And so that way I was able to, when I got up there, I just put the center in first, so I had it aligned and centered, and then I kind of just pulled down, and as I went down the side, put another screw in, and it kind of worked out pretty, it worked out to just be able to kind of grab the end, pull it down, drive that screw in, and then I did put it like, towards the end, I put maybe a screw every 2 to 3 inches, just to give the ends plenty of strength when holding it down. But if you take a look at it, it's all nice and tight now across the top. And I did, like I said, I'm going to leave that end open. I'm going to leave this end open. I've got nice air flow going through. This is facing pretty much east-west, a little not quite due east and due west, but it does allow the air to blow through here from the west to the east, and then inside it continues to, oh boy, I see a bee up there. But inside here, when the sun's out, it still gets plenty warm and plenty hot. So I don't think I need the ends closed off. I think I'll be able to just leave those open. Yeah, it's looking nice, and I did trim everything off. I'm not sure how much I should have left. I left, I think, at like maybe 2 inches. Trim the ends off. I still have to trim this side. I need to trim that off, but greenhouse done. Looking good, working great. So a couple items checked off the to-do list here in the Woodyard today. Nothing too major, but just those little odds and ends and little things that I want to get done. And today was just one of those days where I'm like, all right, I think I can get this done and that done. And luckily I was able to. So we'll see you guys tomorrow night. Again, remember we will be starting at 8 p.m. Eastern. So 8 Eastern, 7 Central, we will start and it's going to be the first Friday Night Live out on the Tiki Bar with the fire going. So looks like we're going to be able to be outside. So we'll see you guys tomorrow night. Tune in and let me know down in the comments if there is, well, we're just going to set it for now at starting at 7 Central, 8 Eastern. If there is a overwhelming response in the comments, then maybe I'll adjust it, maybe I won't. I don't know. We'll find out. We'll see you there.